Boardroom, Chapter 7, 5000 BC. Pops was over supervising the new construction of the Labyrinth planet. He had devised an ingenious plan whereby there was only one entrance and exit to the planet. The surface was completely smooth except for a single 100-foot opening. The entire interior was one continuous maze. After one entered the opening, you would bear left and then continue through the entire maze in some 7 million miles in length, uniquely lit by ever-burning candles and magnificent flora and fauna which kept the air circulating. The angels could zip through it, but it would take them several weeks. The angel workforce was fairly large. Luke was really impressed with the design when it was unveiled at the regional planning conference and asked if he could supervise the construction. As an 8, he would have the capability, and his request was granted. The project was nearly 75% complete when Pops came to the construction site one beautiful day. Luke saw him and flew over to greet him. Pops was in a light blue suit, navy shirt with light and dark striped tie. Luke was in blue jeans and dark green t-shirt. "What do you think, Father? Isn't it grand? I can't wait till we're finished. I want to be the first to tour the labyrinth. After you, of course." No, you go ahead. You've earned it with all this hard work. I did a couple things, made them a little different from the plan. Hope you don't mind," Luke said. Pointed to the huge set of plans. "I put a little corkscrew in here and changed the angle in the passageway. A little more difficult to traverse, so a little more fun. Eh, sir?" "I don't," he was going to say, "you can't get enough light on that tight corkscrew," but did not. "You always told us to be ourselves, so I just did what you said." The old man smiled, but Luke caught the less than enthusiastic feature on his face. "Say," Luke said, "if I do a good job here, how about you letting me do a project on my own? I've got this great idea for a planet full of volcanoes with a new design allowing for habitation. I call it Firebird. You said we should seek out things to do and keep our minds active. You said once in a sermon that an idle mind will grow stale. Well, I assure you I have the most active mind in all angeldom." "I expect you do, son, I expect you do." The half-smile came back to his face. "Say, why don't you walk with me for a bit? Get Fred to take over." "Okay, Fred, can you take over for a few minutes?" He yelled over the din of the cutting of the rock saws. After a couple of minutes, Luke saw Fred wave his arms. The two headed down the labyrinth at its main entrance several hundred yards ahead. Nothing was said until they entered the narrow opening. It was cool inside, yet very beautiful. The scents overwhelmed Luke's nostrils, but Pops didn't notice. "Wow, what do you got in here?" "Oh, a little something I cooked up. I like to cook up things. Keeps me from being idle." Never thought you could be idle or lazy," Luke said. "Oh, I like to rest. One needs both physical and mental rest. Law of the universe, you know," Pops affirmed. "Say, you aren't," Luke pointed at his own head. "You wouldn't be." "I bet you are. I want to thank you in advance for increasing our brain power. I knew it. I knew it." Pops put his strong arm on Luke's shoulder as they walked farther into the labyrinth. Many of the plant leaves were now vibrating, creating some marvelous music unlike any Luke had ever heard. "You know, Luke, I love you. I really care about you, but I'm concerned about your understanding of our little world." "You mean this planet, the labyrinth?" No, I mean about all of our world, our universe." He stopped and sat down on a large rock with a soft velvet chartreuse moss covering. He gestured for Luke to do so also. Luke sat across the path on a huge burnt sienna chair that was floating in a bubbling pond of water. "What do you mean, sir?" Luke was very attentive. "Well, as I have stressed to each and every one of you from birth," Luke was now some 28,000 years old, "each angel, each planet, each star, each galaxy, each universe can exist only if there is perfect order. That order is upset in any way, then things don't work so well. And if the order is disturbed enough, everything will start to unravel. This little hummingbird's heart doesn't work perfectly. He will get weak and he will not be able to fly properly. He He will then not be able to eat right, and eventually he will cease to exist. Pops knew Luke did not know what death was. Only he knew that word and its meaning. And he, Pops, was bound and determined to keep it that way. He continued, I created you angels as helpers, but I created various versions, if you will, with various powers from 1 through 8, as I knew I would need various assistants at various places. And no two of you are alike. Yeah, how'd you do that? Pops ignored the question and went on. I also gave everyone a run of the universe and anything he or she wanted. But to preserve order, I also had to limit their capacity. If not, we would then have a bunch of you wanting to run things. When more than one entity is capable and wants to run the show, there is inevitable controversy. What about just giving some of us deserving angels a little more power, say 9, 10 maybe? Then give the more powerful of us each a galaxy to run. You know, there are trillions and trillions of galaxies. Give us a little more creative power and let us design our own with our own flora and fauna. Give us charge over a bunch of angels, say 3s and 4s, or maybe 2s. Yeah, 2s, Luke said, warming to his theory. He further expanded his train of thought. Yeah, we could set up our own hierarchy and rules, run things our way, but we would not get in anyone's way. I mean yours, just run our own little galaxy. What about universal law? Well, of course, yes, yes, our rules would conform to universal law, all your laws and statutes. All angels were well versed in the laws of the Father and the universe. There was mandatory schooling from birth and regular classes thereafter to explain, define, and review these laws and what was expected of each and every angel. Luke was coming to detest these classes. He knew he could do things better. Why all the rules, he had wondered for some time now. He thought everybody should live as they wanted to. Pops was reading his mind, and they both stared toward the cool ground in the labyrinth. Finally, Pops broke the long silence. All I can do is reiterate to you what I have said for your entire life, what I have said for all eternity. Universal law, my law, must be followed. Without law and order there is chaos. It is inevitable. I have given you everything there is to give. Again there was dead silence. Finally Luke stood and said, You have given everything but the thing we really want. What's that, son? Father said, knowing full well what the answer would be. Our freedom.